Good morning, all.
Good morning.
If there's anyone out there who is joining us for the first time, I want to welcome you. My name is Bill Brule, and I'm a member of the Fellowship's worship team. So if there are visitors here today, I'd like to invite you to stand up, tell us your name and where you're from. We'll all cheer. Hi.
Hi, I'm Christine, and I'm from France. I'm visiting my grandmother here.
Did you say France?
Yes.
Well, welcome.
And I'm Margaret Greger Poston, and I'm visiting my brother, and also visiting my home union fellowship.
Welcome, Anne Margaret. Is there anyone else? We're off to a good start. Just know that whoever you are, and wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome regardless of where you were born, your skin color, education, class background, or whatever language you speak. And it's obviously more than French. We are glad you chose our fellowship when we come together on Sunday to listen to the callings of our hearts. Callings that guide us to become the best we can. And please gather with us in the social room after the service for coffee and conversation, even if you're shy like I am. It's true. By the way, you can get our weekly newsletter to get better connected and learn about our efforts to support social justice and more. Just go to our website for our email and send a request. Now I have a couple of announcements. On Saturday, June 24th at 8 a.m. till noon, on the UUFC parking lot, there will be a yard sale. Bring your stuff. And on Tuesday, June 20th, a screening of Mama Bears. Did I get that right, Kathy?
Yeah, well, it says it's Thursday, but it's really Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, June 20th. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Most important announcement I can make today, though, has to do with our congregational meeting at 11:45, 15 minutes after the service, right here. And please come. It's important. It's important. We're going to vote on the 8th principle. You have that. Please check it out. We're going to have a vote. So, now to the heart of the service today. Our theme today is beauty. And what is beauty? What does the word mean? Karl and I will explore that question from two perspectives. He from the perspective of science and me from the perspective of art, especially poetry. After nearly a lifetime of trying to understand what beauty means, we see a lot of pretty, which is called beauty, and I disagree. I concluded that beauty is a feeling, not an idea. In the broadest sense, in the very broadest sense, beauty connects me to the heart of every part of the universe, a mountain, a morning sunlight. I am related to every part of the universe, and therefore it's easy for me to connect with those images. On some level, consciously or unconsciously, I recognize all that the universe produces is in me. Not only the exterior beauties of this universe, this earth, my fellow human beings, but our character, our essence, our spirit as well. Lauren Isley, a scientist, a teacher, and an eminent anthropologist I once knew, understood what I mean. Isley tells a story about a fox in his book, The Star Thrower. Great writer, by the way, if you're looking for some good science and art. This story is about the inner beauty of Earth's creatures. This is Isley speaking. The creature was very young. He was alone in a dread universe. I crept on my knees, Isley says, and crouched beside him. It was a small fox pup from a den under broken timbers. He looked up at me. God knows what had become of his brothers and sisters. His parents must not have been home from hunting. He innocently selected what I think was a chicken bone from an untidy pile of splintered rubbish and shook it at me invitingly. There was a vast and playful humor in his face. Here in the midst of the bones was a wide-eyed, innocent fox inviting me to play. Inviting me with the innocent courtesy of two forepaws placed appealingly together, along with a mock shake of his head. The universe at that moment was swinging in some fantastic fashion. To present its face, and the face was so small that the universe itself was laughing, it was not time for human dignity. It was a time only for the careful observance of amenities written behind the stars. Gravely, I arranged my forepaws while the puppy whimpered with ill-concealed excitement. I drew the breath of a fox den into my nostrils. On impulse, I picked up a whiter bone and stuck it in teeth that had not entirely forgotten their original purpose. For just a moment, I had held the universe at bay with the simple expedient of sitting on my haunches before a fox den and tumbling about with a chicken bone in my teeth. It was the gravest, most meaningful act I shall ever accomplish. Lauren Isley. Carl?
Let's do the hand. My name is Karl Dieter, and I'd like to invite Cody Moss to come up and light the chalice for us. Thank you, Cody. Please join me in saying together our words of affirmation. Together in a spirit of love, with justice as our guide. This is our chosen covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth with freedom, and to care for one another.
Good morning. This morning's story is in honor of Father's Day, but it is also more than that. In the words of its best-selling author and artist, Oliver Jeffers, it is all about the pure potential of what will come, both good and bad, and how, ultimately, people need each other, even if that is just for someone to listen to all your plans. Speaking for myself, I can't think of many things more beautiful than that. So our story this morning is What We'll Build, Plans for Our Together Future by Oliver Jeffers. What shall we build, you and I? Let's gather all our tools for a start. For putting together and taking apart. Let's build a door where there was none. We'll build a house to be our home. I'll build your future, and you'll build mine. We'll build a watch to keep our time. We'll build some love to set aside and build a hole where we can hide. A fortress to keep our enemies out and higher walls for when they shout. But you don't always lose, and you don't always win. So we'll build a gate to let them in. We'll build a table to drink our tea and say, I'm sorry, me too, me three. We'll build a tower to watch the sky and other worlds that pass us by. Let's build a tunnel to anywhere. Let's build a road up to the moon. Let's build a comfy place to rest, for we'll be tired soon. Let's build a boat that can't be broken, that will not sink or be cracked open. A place to stay when all is lost, to keep the things we love the most. We'll put these favorite things beside the earlier love we set aside. I think that we may want them later when times are hard and needs are greater. But first things first, let's build a fire, for we've planned a lot and now we're tired. It'll keep us warm like when we're born. Then we'll say goodnight as all's all right. These are the things we'll build, you and I. And yes, he did write that for his newborn daughter.
This is the time we set aside for the offertory in order to give toward the financial vitality of this community. Also, 25% of the weekly collection each week goes to an organization in the local community we partner with. For the month of June, we're partnering with Ripple of One. For those at home, you can go to the UUFC website and use the donate button. There you will see options for paying your pledge and donating towards the organizations we partner with. Thank you for your generosity. This is the time we take to share our joys and concerns, and we welcome our visitors from across the United States and around the world. Louis Brager has a joy. Welcome, my sister Margaret and I celebrate that we are the third generation UUs who have stayed active UUs throughout our lives. Meg Williamson has a joy. Many thanks to the folks who came out to help with weeding, mulching, and gathering the flowers and decorating our pulpit. And Heidi Campbell has both a joy and a sorrow. My joy is that my son Ezra and I had a fun, good time on a tour of the Maritimes in Canada. My sorrow is about the many fires in provinces now west of the Maritimes and the smoke coming down into the United States ahead of our country too, with much nature beauty to be seen.
Sorry, there was much beauty in nature.
To be seen. Martha Alexander has a joy. Jim and Martha, sons Doug and Andy, daughter-in-law Denise, grandchildren Adie and Patrick's friends Savannah and Jacqueline, Jacob, spent last week at Coswell Beach, North Carolina. Kathy Crane has a joy. It is my pride and delight with the variety of activities our community is facilitating in honor of Juneteenth. Happy holiday. And a joy for S.J. Afragola, or B.J. The Oklahoma boys are coming in August 8/25 to 8/26, Friday, Saturday, p.m. All concessions proceeds go to UUFC. See Steve or Mel for details. And lastly, we express our joys and concerns for those that are yet to be shared. We will now sing the children on their way. I've selected a series of slides for a visual meditation on beauty. So sit back, relax, and be prepared to meditate on your thoughts and feelings as the photos flash past you.
Thank you, Carl. Carl is making a point about beauty that I would say is external. And that, I think, is where we usually consider beauty to be. Like Lauren Isley and the fox, Lauren Isley found beauty in that animal and his relationship to it. I would like us to explore beauty in a poem, The Song of Wandering Angus. This is an Irish poem that was published in 1897. And Angus was a god, the god of beauty and love in Irish literature, Gaelic literature. And we'll take a look at that. It's a 3-stanza poem. And it was published and written by W.B. Yeats. When he was born June 13th, that was only several days ago, in 1865. So I think this is a good time to celebrate this man of enormous importance in our English literature, W.B. William Butler Yeats. The poem that I'd like to explore is called The Song of Wandering Angus, the God of Love. I'd just like to take this apart with you. Please, when you read a poem, especially a new poem, read it aloud. We're taught by our traditions recently to read poetry silently. Well, you'll get so much more if you just read it aloud. Poems are closely related to songs. We don't read our songs silently. Do the reading aloud with poetry, and you'll find more in it. Let's just take this apart, stanza by stanza. There are 3 stanzas. And they are like a little story. The first stanza is the setup. A young man goes out into the hazel. There's a reason for hazel. Hazel has a special significance in old Gaelic lore. I wouldn't say it's magic, but it is of special importance. Because a fire was in his head, I don't know what I think about that. I think about different things. I get a fire in my head at different times. I'll bet you do too. So it means different things, doesn't it? What does it mean to you? Just think about it. And he cut and peeled a hazel wand. He chose that word wand. He could have said stick. But wand is different, isn't it? A magician holds a wand. There's something about the word wand that it sounds better. And it means more than stick. So look for, when you take apart your poetry, look at it for what it says to you. So he hooked a berry to a thread. He's going fishing. This is a young guy. And it's evening. White moths were on the wing, and moth-like stars were flickering out. It's in the evening. He dropped the berry in a stream and caught a little silver trout. So it feels real, almost, except for that wand and the hazel. But there's more to it. Do we do the second one? He caught a silver trout?
That is the second.
Oh. Oh, he caught a silver trout. When I had laid it on the floor, I went to blow a fire flame. I was going to cook it. But something happens, and this is the middle part of the drama, the story. Something rustled on the floor. Rustled's another one of those good words. And someone called me by my name. It had become a glimmering girl. Glimmering another one of those words, with apple blossom in her hair at springtime, who called me by my name and then ran and faded through the brightening air. Morning is coming. We'll go to the third stanza. Now he's old. He never caught her, it seems. But he kept after her. Now he's old with wandering through hollow lands and hilly lands, all kinds of places. You can imagine them in your mind. We each have a different way to see what these things mean, and that gives different layers to the poem. And that's what makes a poem great and lasting. This one, 1897, if it lasts a long time in a lot of places, that's what makes it great. I will find out where she has gone and kiss her lips and take her hands, and together we'll walk along long dappled grass till pluck and pluck till time and times are done. More magic. The silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun. Here's Michael Gambon reading the poem.
I went out to the hazel wood because a fire was in my head, and cut and peeled a hazel wand and hooked a berry to a thread. And when white moths were on the wing and moth-like stars were flickering out, I dropped the berry in a stream and caught a little silver trout. When I had laid it on the floor, I went to blow the fire aflame, but something rustled on the floor, and someone called me by my name. It had become a glimmering girl with apple blossom in her hair, who called me by my name and ran and faded through the brightening air. Though I am old with wandering through hollow lands and hilly lands, I will find out where she has gone and kiss her lips and take her hands and walk among long dappled grass and pluck till time and times are done the silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun.
And if you each think it means something else, then it's great. Thank you.
Hi, what's your name, darling?
My name is Susan Boyle.
Okay, Susan, and where are you from?
I am from Blackburn near Bathgate, West Lothian.
It's a big town.
It's a sort of collection of, villages. I had to think there.
And how old are you, Susan?
I am 47. And that's just one side of me.
Okay, what's the dream?
I'm trying to be a professional singer.
And why hasn't it worked out so far, Susan?
I've never been given the chance before, but here's hoping it will change.
Okay, and who would you like to be as successful as?
Elaine Page.
Elaine
something like
Page.
that.
What are you going to sing tonight?
I'm going to sing I Dreamed a Dream from the Miserables.
Okay.
Big song.
Yeah? Yes.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by.
You didn't expect that, did you? Did you? No.
I dreamed that love would never die. I dreamed that God would be forgiven. I was young and unafraid. When dreams are made and used and wasted.
Thank you very much, Susan Piers.
Without a doubt, that was the biggest surprise I have had in 3 years on this show. When you stood there with that cheeky grin and said, I want to be like Elaine Page, everyone was laughing at you. No one is laughing now. That was stunning, an incredible performance. Amazing. I'm reeling from shock about you two, but
I am so thrilled because I know that everybody was against you. I honestly think that we were all being very cynical, and I think that's the biggest wake-up call ever. And I just want to say that it was a complete privilege listening to that. It was brilliant.
Susan, I knew the minute you walked out on that stage that we were going to hear something extraordinary, and I was right.
Not a lot of talk.
Susan, you are a little tiger, aren't you?
Oh, I don't know about that.
You are. Okay, moment of truth. Piers, yes or no?
The biggest yes I have ever given anybody.
Amanda?
Yes, definitely. Brilliant. Amanda,
Susan Boyle, you can go back to the village with your head held high. It's 3 yeses.
Every time I watch that video, I always well up in tears. I can't seem to avoid it. Good morning. And happy Father's Day to all you dads out there, and anyone else who plays the role of a father, nurturing children to play, to thrive, and to love themselves in a rough and tumble world. Beauty. Upon learning that delight was the Soul Matters theme for June, beauty immediately came to mind. When I experience the beauty of the natural world, I feel seduced by the breeze that caresses my cheeks, the fluttering leaves and swaying trees asking for a dance, the naked beauty of the moon teasing by dressing and undressing with the clothing of the clouds, and the joy and sorrow of life sustained and life denied in the graceful motion of a hawk plucking a squirrel from a tree limb, flying to the ground, waiting for it to die. I experience the beauty of the natural world as a seduction that inflames my desires and love of life. In a sermon many, many years ago, I channeled the Song of Solomon, observing that I prefer the feminine pronoun for God. For the image of laying my weary head upon God's bosom and drinking the very sustenance of life is for me very soothing and comforting. When I am in the presence of beauty, I am like a child in a candy store. It took me 2 years in college to decide if I wanted to major in English literature or chemistry. My opening lines display a poet's delight in the central pleasures of the physical world and has a kinship with religious rituals and worship, expressing gratitude for life and existence. But I chose science because the experience of looking at the world as it is, warts and all, the mechanisms of action, and the nature of reality independently of human needs and wants is an experience of immense beauty for me. The emphasis on sunny optimism, lofty feel-good language, and stirring rhetoric on Sunday morning services often leaves me with mixed feelings. For I experience an ugliness in the splintering of experience into the sacred and the profane. In scientific knowledge, I experience beauty, even when it is the knowledge of horror. There is beauty and consolation in a physical universe beyond our self-absorption that is indifferent to human existence. This morning, I wish to take you on a journey through the majestic imperialism of the genes, the human experience and expression of beauty, and see if this reality can inform religious faith and practice. The experience of beauty is a sensation of joy and pleasure that we run to like a moth to a flame, and like the whole of the natural world, is exclusionary in its expression and occurrence. Beauty lies in proportion, symmetry, color, hues, melodious sounds, and at its heart, is the experience of pleasure. Evolution has shaped our minds to embrace beauty because doing so provided greater adaptability and survival of our ancestors, whose genes encoded for this response to the world. The beauty we experience in a glorious sunrise or sunset, in majestic snow-capped mountains, or spectacular waterfalls, are but the unintended consequences of biological evolution's mechanism of natural selection that favors those traits that increase reproductive success and individual survival. Beauty is nature's billboard with messages written in bold colors, vibrant sounds, graceful moments, and sculptured bodies. Beauty sends the invitation. Come mate with me. Spread my seed, says the flowers to the bees. I'm young, attractive, fertile, and can produce healthy offspring. By its very nature, beauty is exclusive. And as Charles Darwin noted, if everyone were cast in the same mold, there would be no such thing as beauty. Beauty exists because of the relentless impulse for gene replication in the living world. Allow me a paragraph of boring data, which warms my heart because it gives me the beauty of experiment and scholarship. In Survival of the Prettiest, Nancy Etkoff details a variety of studies revealing that the human response to beauty transcends culture. In all walks of life and most circumstances, those blessed with beauty are granted privileges and power that smooth their paths through life. People are more willing to help those perceived as more beautiful, less likely to criticize them, and assume that they possess superior skills and abilities. And we just saw the opposite side of the coin in Susan Boyle's video. When a collection of hundreds of human faces, ranked on their attractiveness to adults, were shown to 3-month and 6-month-old babies, the babies gazed the longest at those faces that the adults found most attractive. And this was true across all ethnic groups and for images of men, women, and children. Across 37 cultures, both sexes prefer the more beautiful spouses. And in 1/3 of the non-Western world, people place a greater value on beauty in a spouse than do college students in the United States. And this correlates with, quote, the prevalence of parasitic diseases, unquote, in those countries. These studies clearly indicate that there are universal beauty preferences in the human mammal, and that this mimics other animals where beauty's attraction is a sign of physical health and genetic fitness. But beauty is not the only magnet, and in attracting others, one can ply a range of tools. A plain woman can attract men with flirtatious, jaunty movements and a playful, teasing personality. Similarly, a lack of beauty in one sphere can be offset by beauty in another. When the frumpy Scottish singer Susan Boyle, as we just saw, came on stage in April 2009 for a Britain's Got Talent contest, she was mocked with derisive laughter and then received a standing ovation after singing I Dreamed a Dream from Les Miserables in an angelic voice. Concepts of beauty are applied to most human endeavors, ranging from science, technology, military tactics, game strategy, art, engineering, fashion, and design. The word is also used to express admiration and pleasure in more nuanced attributes, such as character, grace, compassion, love, loyalty, and principled action. In serendipity, this program was scheduled for Father's Day. So I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the timeless beauty of male courage, stoicism, and sacrifice, reflected in heroic tales of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, the biblical story of King David, beloved by God, and Homer's tale of Ulysses. The experience of beauty and the meaning and arrangement of words in poetry that Bill shared with us extends to other literary forms, philosophy, and the rituals and theology of religion. Religions have a problematic relationship with beauty, using it as a stand-in for the sacred, the holy, and the divine. The sensual delights of towering medieval cathedrals, stained glass windows, Gregorian chants, dance, rituals, symbolic artifacts, and priestly robes, experienced by our bodily senses, are offered as evidence of the greater beauty and joy that lies in religion's gaze upon things unseen, such as God, truth, virtue, and goodness. And yet, although the Gnostic description of the physical world as fallen, sinful, dirty, and evil is a heresy in Christian theology because it denies the goodness of all of God's creation. There is a fear that God or religious faith is no match for beauty's seduction. Christians might say to me, "Karl, you make an idol of God's creation." This goodness of creation and biological necessity renders every organ and function of the body beautiful and worthy of celebration, even for those elements that some may find disgusting and unworthy of public expression. When a human brain prays or meditates, looks upon a mountain scenery or sexual images, the same neural bundles and region of the brain lights up in magnetic resonance imaging. The sacred and the profane are united in the same region of the brain. Many, many years ago, I used to say, "I come to church to play, to revel in my being, to disturb the universe and give it meaning." And I suspect that that is true for many of us. I love this world that is both kind and cruel, more than I could ever love any image of what some might think it should or ought to be. In my view, every dimension of human experience, every thought, feeling, action, and engagement is both a blessing and a curse. Can this examination of beauty's reality in the physical world inform us about religious values and practices in a meaningful way? Most religions proclaim aspirational values of kindness, compassion, agape love, and the common good. Values that are difficult to live by, I believe, because of the religious impulse to divorce the sacred from the profane. Humans are embodied spirits, and every human attribute and aspiration is only possible because of the endowment and gifts of our evolutionary history found in our genes. If it is wrong for men to look upon the beauty of women, and in the memorable phrase of Jimmy Carter, with lust in their hearts, then it is wrong for women to look upon men with an eye to the security and financial support the men can bestow upon the woman and her children. I find in these human proclivities the beauty of evolution's solution to problems of human life's existence. When we look upon the natural world, we see that some balance has been achieved that manages cooperation and competition, providing healthy ecosystems and individuals with varied chances of survival. In medicine, the Hippocratic Oath advises the physician to first do no harm. Perhaps a similar religious oath should be to make no rules, no demands, and no expectations until they are absolutely necessary. Instead, allow beauty and desire, love and indifference, kindness and cruelty play out upon the field of life, and perhaps then then there will be a greater flowering of religious ideals in human engagement. In medieval morality plays, the chorus sometimes sang, "Mankind is greater than the angels which art in heaven, for he has the capacity to sin. Praise be to God from whom all blessings flow." I find the promise of a religious journey reflected in the description of Adam and Eve's expulsion from the Garden of Eden after eating of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil in Milton's Paradise Lost. Some natural tears they dropped, but wiped them soon. The world was all before them, where to choose their place of rest, and Providence their guide. They hand in hand, with wandering steps and slow, through Eden took their solitary way. The world is all before us, and as a religious community, we travel hand in hand through life's journey, sharing hearts and minds, while cherishing the individuality and differences that may lead to conflict and dissent, which a beloved community must be able to guide and negotiate. And now I think we have the hymn. May we open our hearts and minds to the beauty and splendor that all around us lies. And for the joy and delight that beauty brings, may we in gratitude respond to the world with the religious virtues of kindness, compassion, and love in all its varieties.
Back at the link for the meeting at 11:45. Thank you.